About 3 years ago, my niece came to visit. My niece is a political science junkie. And she handed me a compact disc, and she made me promise to listen to it. And I told her I would. I put it on my desk, and about a year later, I saw this compact disc sticking out from one corner of the desk, and I thought, well, I didn't promise her when I was going to listen to it. But I took the disc and I put it in my computer, and I sat back and I listened. And what I heard was unbelievable. What I heard was a presentation of how the nation of New Zealand had totally reformed its government. And when I say reform, I mean from top to bottom. Every department, every agency, the entire government. Since that time, I have, and it was delivered, by the way, by a gentleman whose accent was just fabulous. I really enjoyed listening to it. And since that time, I've made probably a couple of hundred copies of that disc. I've probably violated the copyright laws from here to hallelujah. But I've circulated around Rhode Island everybody that I could give one to listen, and said, you got to hear this guy because he's talking about New Zealand, but he's also talking about Rhode Island. And we all need to hear it. So I said to myself when I heard that, I have to get this man to Rhode Island. Now, it's taken a little while for us to get that accomplished, but we finally have managed to get him here. And as I indicated earlier, it was a tough time for him to get here yesterday. But let me simply say to you that I think it's a great and our good fortune to have with us today from New Zealand, by way of the Mercatus Institute of George Mason University, the Honorable Maurice McTigue.
Thank you, Harry, and thank you to the Rhode Island Statewide Coalition for the invitation to be here. I am delighted. When I listened to Leonard, the first thing that I noticed was that he has an accent. So, and of course I don't. The second thing, though, was he came up with a new technical term, and I have to remember that, due presumption. And it actually reminded me of when I was a small child and our mother used to read to us a story called Alice in Wonderland. And many of us have been through those kind of Alice in Wonderland experiences in recent years as our governments have done lots of the worst things that they could. Copying some of the things that happened in my own country back in the 1980s and early 90s, I've chosen the name for my presentation to you today as Choosing Poverty or Prosperity. And at the moment, you are on course to choose poverty. Often when we are confronted with issues like this, they're explained to us as being incredibly complicated. That is not true. We had a saying when I was in cabinet, and that is, if the answer is complicated and the solution is highly sophisticated and difficult, it's probably wrong.